Hello everybody, and just here, and welcome back to Wistoria episode 10, in which I have a feeling that Will and the rest of the team are probably gonna stumble upon something that they're gonna have to perhaps fight with throughout episodes 11 and 12, right? Something like that, probably. They released another whatchamacallit, key art, it's called, right? Yeah, another piece of art promoting the show and promoting this arc that is just beginning, I'd say, which is very interesting because usually whenever they release a new piece of key art, or again, whatever it's called, it's for a new season or for a second core of an existing season, right? That's usually how it is. So it's interesting that they have chosen to release brand new piece of art like 3 episodes before the end of the season. Makes me think that perhaps the arc that we are going to begin, well, that we've already begun, probably with Will and the rest falling into, like, what, 12th floor? Something thereabouts. That already was the beginning of the next arc, I'd say. So we'll see where that goes, right? What exactly happened in the previous episode? Maybe let's talk about that. In the previous episode, well, there wasn't really all that much. The Will's new team has been just blasting through the floors, having absolutely no issue with fighting the monsters en masse, with just AoEing them to death, and Will was feeling kind of useless during all that climb down, because yeah, Will is very good in a 1v1 situation against a very strong foe, right? Will is tanky, Will deals a lot of single target damage, etc, etc. But he doesn't have search, so he doesn't know exactly where the enemies are outside of his line of sight. He doesn't have any AoE capabilities either, so it's not that he can't deal with a group of enemies, but where he would just be going after those enemies one by one, the AoE mage, which basically everybody in the team has some sort of an AoE spell, can just destroy the entire group with just a single cast. Yeah, Will is feeling kind of useless, but Liana tells him that, and the rest of the team, that he's there for when they encounter the boss. Because the boss is singular, strong, they're gonna need a tank, essentially, in a single target DPS to handle that. What else happens along their climb? We learn a little bit more about Wignall. We learn that elves apparently don't like to be touched, so that's a nice bit of detail. We also see Liana in action, showing her butt cheeks and swinging her magic sword around, which gets her like a little closer to Will, in that they both are like melee oriented, kind of, sorta. It's gonna be interesting how their friendship, relationship, whatever you wanna call it, evolves over time, because just through the sheer fact that Liana fights in melee range, they already have something in common, right? Already Will has something more in common with Liana than he has in common with even Charlotte, right? Just when it comes to their combat style alone. So we'll see where that goes. Then, yeah, the team progresses steadily through the floors until they reach the bottom floor, where they expect to meet not a Cerberus. What was that thing called? Can't remember the name of it, but it was also something Berus, but not Cerberus. And that Cerberus was dead already. Not only that, but all the monsters in the area have been slaughtered as well, and well, who could have done that? We got a glimpse at the... I don't actually know who. At the group, at the pair, that we've already seen at the end of one of the episodes. The guy wearing the face mask and another without a head, who I thought might have been like a summon of the masked guy or a reanimated corpse or something, but no, apparently the headless guy is a character in their own right, and their name is Headless, right? I think it's Headless. So it was probably them. I mean, Headless even says as much, I believe. Our team arrives there, sees the dead Cerberus, and then a much worse monster appears. Some sort of a underground dragon thing with big teeth that can evade the surge spell and whatnot. And the floor of the floor, I guess, just starts to crumble, and everybody falls down. Everybody falls deeper than some of them probably ever were. Right? To floor 11, or have they passed floor? No, to floor 11. I thought maybe that they passed floor 11 and fell to floor 12, but no, floor 11. And where floor 10 was very like HR Giger-esque, with those like twisted, bony kind of look to it, very dry, very ashen, right? Like a dead world, essentially. Floor 11 is very, very fleshy. It looks kind of like flesh. It's probably not flesh. It's probably just stone that looks like flesh. But it doesn't change the fact that it does look like flesh. So they found themselves in a very interesting situation, and they've also been separated. If just falling down was not enough, Will landed with Wignall, Sion with Julius, I believe, and Colette with Liana. I think that's the team up of how they fell down. We didn't really get much glimpse at the other couples, but we did get a glimpse at Wignall and Will, and we've learned some more details about Wignall. Wignall is attending the academy not because he was, I don't know, one of the chosen of the elves, and you will go to the academy, you will learn the magic of humans or whatever. No, he went to the academy because he sucks. He's kind of like Will. He also has someone he looks up to, and that someone is Eleanor. Yeah, Eleanor Lios Alf, one of the Magia Vander. And Wignall wanted to follow her, wanted to join her, but he was also very weak by elven standards. So, weak by elven standards, but strong by human standards, while Will was just weak by human standards, unless as far as magic is concerned. So they have that nice little interesting tidbit in common, right? That they are both the what's the word that I always like to use for Will? Can't remember. Not loud. Yeah, can't remember. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Yeah, they're similar in that regard. So in today's episode, Wignall gets a nice show of just how good Will is in the dungeon, and Will also says that, we should probably stick together, we should probably find the others. I actually was stuck on this floor for some time, so I know how to survive this, I know how to deal with that, but I'd rather not be stuck here, to be perfectly honest with you. And seeing the kind of monsters that are around and seeing the kind of an environment that it is, I wouldn't want to stick around either. I don't suppose they can find, I don't know, drinkable water in there, for example. Sure, maybe like Julius could spawn some ice and what's his face, and Sion could melt it and they could drink that or whatever. But yeah, actually, how does like magic water work? Does it actually like spawn water and you can actually drink it? Or is it that as soon as the spell is over, the water disappears and you become dehydrated again? Or interesting things to think about. We'll see. We'll see, of course, what's exactly going to happen in today's episode. I have a suspicion that we're going to follow the other two teams, or maybe we're going to follow all three teams, just, jumping between them. I don't suppose we're going to meet the big bad, the masked guy and the headless one. Maybe in the next episode, or at the end of this one. Right, almost forgot. There is also a stampede of monsters rushing through the camps, killing students and teachers indiscriminately. Some of the deepest camps already fell, and a couple of teachers were found beheaded and crucified, which is probably the doing of the headless one, because we know that he likes to rip people's heads off and, I don't know, try them on. We don't really know their motivation. We really know absolutely nothing about the two of them, so I wonder if we're gonna learn more. And Werkner and Eddie Boy are going to the rescue of that one other hot teacher that called for backup. So that's also something, right? There Will and the rest might eventually get some reinforcements from the school's faculty. We'll see, right? We'll see all about that in this episode. So how about we just watch it, right? To do that, you're gonna need your subs to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show. And I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, costs nothing, helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching Wistoria episode 10 in 3, 2, 1, go. Backstory on Wignall. What you doing there? Oh, trying to show off to Eleanor? Or just training? Is she gonna... No, it just burns up. Oh, that was Will's shadow. Interesting. Has Will met him earlier, but he just doesn't remember, or what? I forgot to brew some tea, so I have to make do with... Well, it's not juice, because it's like 10% juice, maybe tops. It's not soda, because it's not carbonated. A soft drink, I think it's called, right? Yeah, a soft drink. Also, some cities upriver are getting flooded and the dams are bursting. So, not fun. Hopefully it's not gonna flood my neighborhood. It remained dry in 96, 97. That's when the millennium flood in the city was. But you never know. I'm not sure if Czechia released their water reservoirs yet. Because if they do that, then everything on the path of that water in Poland is basically fucked. Some cities already are underwater, so, Laggard, yeah, that's the term. Okay, so you're not the only elf here. It's weaker? Right, but yours... Okay. I wonder if there's gonna be some actual benefit to that. Yeah, because everybody else is a human. And that, I guess, sure. Mm-hmm. So even a second year or a first year can ascend. We've seen that with Elfaria. Right. So because you reached the 6th year, then, you know, you didn't ascend the tower for the 6 years that you were here. Interesting. Oh, you're also looking up to Elfie? Right, same surname. I forgot that. Hmm. Yep. But you were not strong enough. And she just kicked you down and dumped you in a ditch. And that's the flowers that he was desperately reaching for. Damn! Apparently, yeah. And so she was taken for some special training, probably. Right, but you were never good enough. Basically, the same exact story as Will's, except Elfie is a better childhood friend than Eleanor. Because she's still waiting for Will and willing to help him, even. I mean, yeah. Don't look at him like that. I mean, yeah, you are at the top for a reason. You can't be all that bad, can you? Yeah? If Will still has hope, how dare you not have it? Okay, so he is useful in battle. A lot. But then again, it's not his first time on this floor. It's not his first rodeo. You're just a supporter here, mate. Dwarven? Because we have something in common. Because you're a friend. Because you're a teammate. Yeah, you're a good guy. You just need some help and some confidence booster. Headless? Search. Well, he's at least useful in that. Oh, so the dungeon is alive. Or, well, has a semblance of being alive. Interesting. I would be very interested in the dungeon mechanics. Like, what does it mean that it gives birth to monsters? Okay, yeah, they look a fair bit stronger than the, like, whatchamacallit, snakes and flying eye bats or whatever you were fighting. Like fire elementals? Balkar, okay. Notorious meaning like a champion, essentially? So you need a very strong magic. Oh. Well, we're kind of fucked, aren't we, then? We don't even have another elf with us. So it's not even that if we reconnect with some other team, we can defeat those Balkars. Right? Wignall is the only elf in our team. You know, being on the brink of death can show some, additional strength in people. So maybe that's what's gonna happen? True. Yeah. Who do you take him for? So, either Wignall finds a way to give his illusions physicality and actually fight with them, or he finds a way to make those immaterial illusions still somehow help the fight with the Balkars. Yeah, they can just reconstitute themselves. Still no substance to it. Yeah? Or is it that, I don't know. Oh? Hello, Kiki. Is he boosting will, or... I mean, yeah, but elves are, kind of assholes and prideful and whatnot. So, yeah, if you're weak one among the elves, there's no loyalty. There we go. There we go. +1 to Will's harem. Okay. Now that has some substance to it. There we go. So it seems like all he needed is a confidence boost to fully unleash his magic. Everybody was repeating, you can't do it, you can't do it, you can't do it. He internalized it and he actually was unable to do it. Right? Now someone told him, yeah, I believe in you. And it's like, you know what? Hell yeah, I can. And he could. Simple. Cool. Yeah, so he witnessed Wignall's resolve. There we go. Some good old hand holding. Elves. Okay. Cool. We're gonna get some details on them. And on wands. Well, that's useful. Why does it need blood, though? Don't forget the map. Okay, so that's a path of exactly the two of them. Oh? Right. I thought we might get an answer as to whether magic water is drinkable or not. At least you can keep warm. The ice is not melting, though. Yeah, and you're gonna be humiliated by him further once he arrives and saves your ass. It's already been proven that search is kinda useless against some enemies. Yeah. Demons, so is it like a separate class of a monster? Like there are monsters and then there are demons? Safe to assume, yeah. Or the monster on floor 10 and the spawning is the work of someone else. Maybe you don't. Sion is, you know, kinda confident in his ability. Oh, that's one of the floor camps. I was thinking, what did Sion like summon some sort of a box or something? No, it was a tent. Werkner and Eddie Boy in the nick of time. Yep. Okay, well that's a cool magic. Okay, so members of faculty are a fair bit stronger than I assumed they are. Probably a summon. Yep. Kiki. Yep, exactly. Carbuncle. What's a carbuncle exactly? I know this term from Reverse 1999, but I don't really know the meaning of it. Okay, marking their way so that Will can follow them. Right, and neither of you has the power to create water. You couldn't have predicted that, so no, not really. Exactly. True. Yeah. If he can find the stones. Whomst. Okay, well, not Will and Wignall. Headless? Yep. He is strong. And he had some help. You wouldn't have it any other way, Sion. Okay, so it's probably Headless and the other guy that they've met. Or, well, one of them at least. Do you recognize him? Because I don't. Okay, Bruno-sensei. No, Headless, wearing the head of Bruno-sensei. Duke being the dragon monster thing? Where? Very good question, and I would like to hear an answer. Oh, that's dramatic. Yeah, sure. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna fall sooner or later, so... You're fucked, yes. Can they refuse? Will? Someone else? Werkner? And Eddie Boy? Will! Hello, just in the nick of time. The Crumbs. And Kiki, yep. Okay. So episodes 11 and 12 are gonna be fight with those two. What is this magic they're using? Is this the same branch of magic that Eddie Boy uses? I wonder? Okay, they're just gonna leave. Duke. Okay, so they're gonna have to face the big bad dragon. Bad dragon. Sure. Yeah, they're gonna have to face the bad dragon. That's a lot. How do you even know how much it's worth? Yeah, so perfectly predictable. We're gonna fight this guy in the next episode. Okay. The true name of cowards. Alrighty. So, let's watch this episode again, shall we? I don't know how much there's gonna be to talk about, to be honest with you. But sure. Yeah, we get a showcase of Wignall a little bit more, right? Like, we already knew what his deal was. That he was the reject, he was the laggard. But now we know it in, like, more certain terms, I guess. I'm one of the dregs, a laggard. Exactly. You have no talent, my kin have said all kinds of things to me, and the reason is my illusion magic. It does not have physical form, it only produces immaterial phantasms. I really thought that they're gonna go for Wignall's phantasms actually having a good use. Right? Like, they were really good so far at keeping people's weak points their weak points. Not many people had their weak points, but I'm mostly talking about Will, right? He started not having any magic, and he did not gain magic yet, right? Like, the very easy way to go about it would be you start with a main character who doesn't have magic, then the main character finds the Philosopher's Stone and gets magic. Oh, sorry. Right? Simple. You can very simply do that and make it super powerful magic and whatnot, or maybe it turns out that he simply cannot use the schools of magic that they teach because his magic element is the magic of light or whatever, and only once he finds a grimoire of the forgotten ancient light magic he starts casting like light spear or whatever, right? It would be very, very easy to do that, but they didn't. They really keep with the theme of Will just being built like a brick shit house and dealing lots of physical damage. He does not use magic whatsoever. He didn't get like a magic amulet that allows him to cast a fireball, none of that. So they're very good at keeping with the gimmick. So I thought it's going to be the same for Wignall, where it turns out that, okay, like, physical illusions, like, can you even call them illusions at that point, are their own thing and they're useful and whatnot, but those immaterial phantasms also have some sort of benefit to them. Maybe they're immaterial, but they, I don't know, cost basically 0 mana, or they can, I don't know, whatever, right? I thought they're gonna keep with that. But, well, unfortunately, I don't know. I kinda like how Wignall grew, to be honest, so can't really say unfortunately. Everyone says you're gifted. Those who still remain at the academy are leftovers were inferior. This is a very cool detail. I really like that. I really, really like that. Usually when it comes to a magic academy like that, if someone is like really fucking good, they are really fucking good all throughout their education, and once they graduate they go to the magic ministry or the organization of the great mages or whatever the fuck, right? That's usually how it is. And so if someone is really good in their first year, they remain in the academy and are really good throughout the years. So if someone is really good, cream of the crop, in year 6, that means they really are cream of the crop. Not in this case, though, because they get scouted for the tower no matter their age. So if you arrive, like, if you manage to get to your 6th year in education, to your final year in education, that means you weren't chosen for the tower for all those years. So even if you're top of the class in your 6th year, well, you were rejected in your 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st years. So you're really the, well, not the bottom of the barrel, but you're the bottom of the top barrel, I guess you could say. Very interesting. And I didn't really like fully realize that, because I thought that, okay, well, Elfie was scouted as a first year, but that's because she was exceptional or whatever. But no, people get scouted for the tower all throughout the years. Cool. I actually like the fact that this team, this group, is built out of basically rejects, but still good. Right? It's interesting. I like it. Like, they're not the complete rejects, because often you see the team made of like complete bottom of the barrel people who, regardless of that, have some special ability or whatever. No, not in this case. They are in this like nice middle. Worse than the best, but better than the rest. Right? It's interesting. I like that. She was a real genius. Yeah, she inspired many people, it seems. Milk sibling, right, exalted queen. And she was always so much stronger, and then she was taken away to be, I don't know, trained to be a queen, to be trained to be the best or whatever. He's been training all this time, but still didn't manage to leave the school until his 6th year. All the other elves that were placed in this school were already scouted by the tower, because they are naturally so much more gifted at magic than humans. Not Wignall. Wignall is even with humans because he was not scouted before. Interesting. It really changes a lot. I like that. I'll protect you, of course. And yeah, I also know a boy who keeps striving even as he's ridiculed for being talentless. Like, if Will is striving still, then you should too. If Will hopes to have a shot at being a Magia Vander, then why the fuck would you not? Cool. Nightmare Eye, Deformis Serpent. Just flying through the air. Cool. That was great. Just cutting it lengthwise. Nice. Very nice. I'm absolutely confident you're not a mean elf. Yeah, Will is collecting a friends group, finally. This is a dungeon giving birth to monsters. I think I might have it already noted down that the dungeon is alive. If I don't, then I'm gonna note it again. I have it noted that the planet is alive. Well, that doesn't have to be true necessarily, but I think that the dungeon might actually be. The dungeon is alive, right? Like, all those different layers, and they look more and more fleshy as we go deeper and deeper, right? Huh. Dungeon giving birth to monsters. Those are like monster essence, monster soul, or whatever it is, going through the walls as if through blood vessels. And sure enough, the walls look like they have some blood vessels in them. And it spits out, what's it called? Umbilical fluid? No, that's not the word for it. I don't know. Yeah, it releases lots of fluid from its womb and then releases triplets. Balkas, okay. Very convenient for the story that they just happened to run into monsters that are resilient to everything except elven illusions, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, you gotta have to do that. My illusion magic is defective. I'm not good enough. If I try, I just know. Well, then try. Yeah, it's okay to get it wrong. We're not geniuses, so if we don't make mistakes, we'll never move forward, right? Exactly. If you're a genius, then sure, things come naturally to you. If you're not a genius, then you have to try, and you have to fail. And you have to try and fail and try and fail and try and fail until you get it. That's how it works for us normal folk, essentially, right? Yeah. If I screw this up, you'll know. No, he won't die. He's resilient. He's a tank. It's not gonna be a problem. And besides that, yeah, he has a dream that he wants to reach. We have the same dream, but we're so very different. Yeah, the wind was not enough. I thought here still that they're gonna be keeping the gimmick of Wignall's illusions are immaterial, but just the fact that it's an elven illusion maybe like strips the invulnerability from the Balkars or renders them material or something like that. So even though it's just immaterial and can't damage those Balkars directly, it gives Will an opportunity to actually kill them. I thought we might be going for something like that, where Wignall, right, the haughty, the high and mighty guy who's always behaving like he's on top of the world, is rendered to the role of being a support for Will, and that it's going to be a bit of a humbling experience for him like that. But no, not quite what we go for. What did Kiki do here exactly? Okay, so it's Kiki casting like a magic shield, I think, and additionally to that, Will is spinning his sword. I think that's what it is. You believe in me? Yeah. That's what Wignall needed. Someone to believe in him. If you keep hearing that you can't do something, if you keep seeing that you can't do that, if you keep, believing that you can't do that, then yeah, you can't do that. But now he heard that you can do it. And for the first time in however long, he decided to actually believe that he can do that. And he could. Lo and behold. His trust is the one thing I can never betray. Yeah, +1 to harem. Alf's Ringhul. Ringur. Just nice logs of wood that then turned into a background piece. You are a warrior worthy of respect. Wignall. Will is gonna assemble a court for himself, isn't he? Basically, right? The magicless one at the top, wearing a crown, and then a council of the top of the creme de la creme magic users representing all different magic schools, right? Something like that, maybe. I've always respected you too. Yeah, so I guess Will got some of his persistence and approach to things from Wignall. He witnessed Wignall, trying and continuing to try and continuing to learn and fight despite all odds, despite being rejected, and he himself got inspired. So in the end, they inspired each other. Cool. Elves. What's all this natural-born magic race talk? People fawn all over them just cause they can use more magic than mages. They may grow trees, but we cultivate the earth itself. Just think about it a little and you'll see who's better, ya moron. Ah, Gina, I'm sorry. I just had a little too much to drink, you see. Ah, Donan on the day he was drunk. And wands. When picking one, it's best to think it over, They amplify your magic power, so the strength of your spells varies greatly depending on whether or not you have one. For mages, a wand is a weapon which is like a natural extension of their limbs. To make a wand, you need to qualify as a first-class magic artificer, but I don't think I'll do that. There's someone I'd rather make swords for instead. Frosty Snowman. Seeker's Map, very useful item. And yeah, ice and water, ice and water. Ice and fire, the best combination. I'm really enjoying all the chemistry that the characters in this group have with each other. I really do. I really, really do. Yeah, Sion is learning. Sion can actually grow and develop. Is it a mass spawning? Could it be the work of that monster who spotted on floor 10? No, I think both of those things are the work of, what do they call themselves? Regular villains, I think, right? The work of the regular villains. If you don't hurry up and run, well, run if you want. Theon is not running. Will wouldn't have run, so why would he? Why would he be worse than the laggard, right? And he also can let out some of his frustrations, of course. Tears of blood, the cursed sacred maiden, Zoglus Hilde. That goes hard. This little screen here. Yeah, they really work well together. Eddie Boy and Werkner. They might be at odds over will, right? But when things matter, they just completely set it aside and work together. And Eddie Boy has full trust in Werkner, and Werkner has full trust in Eddie. Cool. I like it. I really do like that. Liana's party. Yeah. Carbuncle. I need to Google carbuncle. Carbuncle. Cluster of several skin boils, furuncles. The infected mass is filled with fluid, pus, and dead tissue. Fluid may drain out of the carbuncle, but sometimes the mass is so deep that it cannot drain on its own. Carbuncles can develop anywhere. Cool. So, like, carbuncle as in the thing on Kiki's head, right? Maybe? 16 hours out of food and water. Yeah, they really should have prepared better. We we don't know how good is magic technology in that, you know, how much can you do with magic tools or magic scrolls, right? But it really seems to me like it would be a good idea for everybody to have maybe, I don't know, a magic glass or something, which you drink it and you pour some of your mana in it and then it fills with water, right? Or something like that, some sort of a magic tool like that to create water. Maybe something to create food, not something super fancy, but just a protein paste basically, or whatever, right? It really would be useful for everybody to have something like that. Yeah, they kind of came underprepared, but then again, they were hoping to just get to floor 10, defeat the Cerberus, and get the fuck out. And if not for the dragon, if not for the meddling of the Headless and the other guy, that's how it would have gone. And who could have predicted that things are going to go this awry, right? So they were prepared for what they thought they need to be prepared for. Besides, there was a camp on level 10, right? Even if they ran out of rations, they could always go to the camp, right? There was that safety net. They didn't know that they could possibly lose it. Yeah, of course, the one to blame is the monster. Huge quantity of magic traces. He dispatched the packs of sentinels alone. It's not just him. Amazing, like, chemistry they have with each other. It's great. Especially Julius. I really like seeing him being the butt of the joke. He really works like that. Cool. I like it. I really like the dynamic of this whole entire team. I really do. Professor Bruno. With a little bit too much blood on his face, I'd say, so probably not. What's this, like, metal thing with an eye? It reminds me of, what was it? Millennium Eye in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right? The, like, triangle thing with the eye in the middle that Yugi had. That was the Millennium Eye, wasn't it? Yeah, it really reminds me of the Millennium Eye. And also, this guy, the Headless, really reminds me of Gematria from Blue Archive. Like, all that's missing is Black Suit and the others, and, like, tell me he couldn't just be a member of Gematria. He absolutely could. Looks like Duke failed to finish them off. Yeah, he has a penchant for drama, doesn't he? Like, this could save it. This really could make a nice, like, background for a PC screen, wouldn't it? It really looks dope. I really like this image. Yeah, we're just your average villains. It's interesting that they actually, like, realize that, right? Like, usually when you have a villain group in a story, they have some, like, higher goal, and they don't really call themselves the villains, right? They're like, well, we need to kick all the puppies in the world because yada yada yada, right? We are actually the good guys, right? That's how it usually goes. You rarely actually have a group who's like, yeah, I'm a villain. Yeah, we're just, your average villains. Don't worry about it. We just do evil because we do evil. Don't worry about it. Refreshing. And just out with his plan. We want to destroy the full sky. Simple. And well, in the nick of time. I really wonder what kind of magic this is. Dark magic, I guess. The same kind that Eddie Boy uses. But it's not being taught anywhere. That's interesting, at least not that I can see. We only have the elemental magic. Yeah, just elemental magic is being taught and is being popular. We haven't seen, like, dark magic or light magic or whatever, have we? Who are these guys? He has no head. Yep. Indeed, apt observation. You give me tingles. This is cool. Just dragging him with the scruff of his neck, essentially. Got a bunch of annoyances closing in on us. I'm assuming he's talking about Werkner and Eddie Boy. Kill them all. Duke. Mage Queen's secret transportation magic. Who the fuck is Mage Queen? Are we talking, like, pre-Magia Vander times, or are we talking... was the Mage Queen the one who established the tower and the Magia Vander? I think that might have been it. Yeah, the exact same monster. 270 credits. That's a lot. That's a metric fuck ton of credits. Evil Grand Duke. And yeah, he's not quite a dragon. He's more like a gargoyle thing, I guess. And we're gonna fight him in the next episode. Yeah, so probably the true name of cowards. So probably episode 11, we're fighting Duke. Episode 12, we see the fallout of that. Maybe the final of the battle. Then we get out of the dungeon. Everybody gets rewarded 270 points. They get scouted for the tower or whatever. And we get a glimpse at Headless and the other guy talking about, I don't know, whatever bullshit. And then we get that brief cut at Eleanor hearing about Wignall's exploits and being like, interesting. Or, something like that, probably how it's gonna go. I can absolutely see that. And hopefully in episode 12 we also get a confirmation for a second season. I hope that's clear, that this is my expectation. Oh boy. Yeah, there's still so much mystery. How does the dungeon work? Like, god damn it. Yeah, that was a nasty blink of the camera. Okay, so, good episode. I enjoyed it. Uh, it was nice to see Wignall's growth thanks to Will, right? We already had Sion grow a fair bit thanks to Will. Now we had Wignall grow. Next in line is probably gonna be Julius, right? It's cool to see that. It's really cool to see them build this sort of ragtag team of the strongest rejects, essentially, right? The strongest laggards. That's interesting. They're not the weakest, they're not the strongest. They're the weakest of the strong, the strongest of the weak. Super cool. I really like this as just a theme for this team, essentially. So that's super cool. I really like all the mystery that we establish here. I've seen a lot of criticism for this show that it's just basic and cookie cutter, and it's just a basic shonen. It's just a copy paste of Danmachi. It's just a copy paste of Mashle. It's just a copy paste of Black Clover or whatever, right? And some things, sure, maybe, but I really think this show is special in the world building, right? I really think that, okay, the main character not having magic, it's not all that original, right? We had Mashle, we had Black Clover, sure. But still, keeping that theme and keeping Will actually not have magic, that's something. Especially since Will doesn't even get like anti-magic ability or an anti-magic sword like people, main characters of the other shows sometimes do. So that's cool. And I really like especially this world building that promises more. That promises we will get out of this whole academy thing. Right? That promises that the sky is going to fall and that we're going to enter a full-scale war with whatever forces lurk beyond. Right? That the dungeon might actually be alive. That there are people under the false sky who want to collapse it. That there are creatures we know nothing about, like the headless one. Who the fuck is he? How does he exist? Right? How can they use the transportation magic so casually? What's their goal? What even is the deal with the sky dome? How can we even hope to win the fight with whatever horrors lurk beyond? Right? All those things really make this show much more original than I think people give it credit for. And all those things are what really draws me towards it so much. That's one of the reasons I would really like to get a second season of it. I would really like to have it announced immediately after this season ends, because I need at least some answers to my questions. At least tell me what's the goal of the headless one. What thing are they after? They mention like merchandise and stuff that they need to get. Like, what exactly? To what end? Why do they want the full sky to collapse? Are they just idealistic faction in that the sky shouldn't be false? Or are they at the beck and call of whatever forces lurk beyond? Or, right? There's a lot of mystery, a lot of questions that I would like answered. So hopefully a second season soon. I'd very much like that. Anything else about this episode in particular? Not really, I don't think. The next episode I can predict is gonna be very, very usual, very normal. We're gonna see the fight with the Duke. We're gonna see some nice Sakuga. We're gonna see all of the group come together to fight the big bad enemy. Maybe eventually they're gonna be saved by Werkner and Eddie Boy. I don't know. It's just mostly gonna be a fight episode, probably. I'm most interested in episode 12. How are they gonna wrap it up? What are they gonna set up as a hook for season 2? That's what I'm interested in. Yeah, that's what I'm very much interested in. But yeah, it's still gonna be like 2 weeks until episode 12. So right now, I'd say that's gonna be it from me for today. But maybe you guys have something more to add on the topic of this episode, my reaction, my theories, stuff like that. Say so in the comments down below. What already said what you should say in the comments. No spoilers, please. Spoilers can go to my Discord if you'd like. If not, then just don't write them out. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to be notified of future videos, not only Wistoria but also Spice and Wolf. Isekai Shikaku. What else is there? QA Isekai. And fuck, I'm blanking. Bye Bye Earth, of course. Yeah. And I also, and more coming in the future. I also stream sometimes, so you can click the bell to be notified of when I go live. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows. For just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. You can also support me directly on YouTube through memberships, super thanks, super chats. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you don't have to. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB, Without an Edze, Rene, Sam Greenwood, UK Ally, Dr. Watakomas, Marsh, Fassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to get your head stolen.